Hey, hello
Hey.
again. All right, so welcome to day one of our trek. We are ready to rock and roll on this. Make sure you like and subscribe if you like this because we will be doing about 18 days worth of treks, so you'll be able to follow us along on our trek every single day. This was a very eventful day. It was day one.
It was my worst day.
It was her worst day for sure.
Worst day.
But it actually started super cool. So as we alluded to in our last episode, there was an issue with the airport, and so Deepak told us we could either take this bus ride and then an airplane flight from a different airport, which we will get to on our last day of our trek. Well, I'm glad we didn't do it both ways.
It's too soon.
It's too soon still. But anyway, what he suggested and said was that we pay a little bit extra and take a helicopter to Lukla from Kathmandu. Neither one of us had ever flown in a helicopter before, except for my little helicopter lesson that you got me for my 50th birthday. But aside from that, like for real, flying in a helicopter, we'd never done that before. So it was amazing. It was a pretty scary experience.
This is
at first
also,
taking off. It was like, woo, flying along.
Okay, so we woke up
Like 4:30 in the morning,
4:30. I don't know. We had to be downstairs around.
I think we left at 5:30. Like from the place, because remember it was the breakfast place wasn't even open. We had to give us like a little box lunch.
That's right. Yes,
Yeah.
and this is where we met
B and McLean.
Hey,
B and McLean. You guys are awesome.
Yeah. So the whole way you'll see pictures of B and McLean, but they were also going with Trekking Planner, and they were doing a much more badass
Right. They were doing the 3 passes.
trek than what we were. But this is where we first met them, and we ended up seeing them a lot on the trek. So
Anyway, we all piled into the helicopter with Suman
Yes.
again. And the pilot and B, I guess, got to go in the front because she was. What does she say? I guess she's flown in helicopters before, and she always sits in the front seat because she's light.
Yes, she's
so she
tiny.
balances.
Yeah.
It's a small thing. You got to balance it, right? So
Yeah.
anyway, but first time we had been in a helicopter flying through the mountains. It was very kind of hazy and foggy in Kathmandu.
They said, I was confused when we got up in the air a little bit because they said that, they don't fly if the visibility isn't good. And we couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you could not see anything. And then when it finally would open up,
There'd be like a mountain like right here.
I mean, and not,
You'd be
I
like,
mean,
oh crap.
like you've never seen before mountain.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah. And actually in the background, we finally got kind of out far enough away, and I was sitting on the left-hand side because I wanted to film some stuff. But when the high mountains finally appeared, I actually started to tear up. It was very, I don't know. It was very special to me to actually see the Himalaya
We would
mountains.
learn that in the days to come that, you would look out and see a mountain, and then if you looked into the clouds, you would see.
That's where the big mountains were.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
crazy.
So it was different. So we were learning at that point.
So anyway, Suman was guiding B and McLean.
Mm-hmm.
Our guide, Galjin, we met in Lukla
Lukla.
because he was still there. And Nuri was actually waiting there with him, who's one of our awesome porters.
Yes, and
Thank you
Pasang.
guys.
Yes.
And Pasang was there too, but he was a
Yes.
little bit later. Or maybe, I can't
Yeah.
remember. But anyway, so we met all 3 of them at one point, and I immediately started feeling guilty about them carrying our giant duffel bags all the way up.
So the helicopter landed in what was a football field,
Yeah,
soccer
kind
field.
of.
Yeah, and
Just an open field.
and they literally just tossed our bags out of the helicopter, and some other people ran and got on the helicopter.
Yeah.
And when it took off, or when it lifted, our bags, which were really heavy, just like tumbleweeds,
It was crazy.
away. And we went and picked them up, and
I hope I have video of that. I think I have video of that because
Yeah.
it was pretty cool.
Galjin came and met us.
So the helicopter took off, and suddenly we were in Lukla, and there's no roads to Lukla, so it's kind of like you hike and you take a helicopter back if
You
you're
just start.
or an airplane.
So we did have to hike from where the helicopter landed up to the first tea house
Right.
of many
So that was
tea
tea
houses.
house number 1.
Tea house number 1.
A lovely little bit of tea before we left, and I learned that I am way taller than most Nepali people as I smashed my head into the overhang coming out of the bathroom.
You did.
I got a big old knot right there.
I did not have that
man,
problem.
it was terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was no fun at all. But I learned how to duck and make sure that I was not gonna hit roofs anymore.
So we got our first experience with tea house menus, and we would find out that they all basically had the same menu the whole time. So
and the really wild part was that either Pasang or Nuri or Gyeoljin would take our order, and then they would submit it to the people, and then they would bring it back to us. So it's kind of a wild thing. They turned into our waiters. It was
crazy. They were our waiters as well, and they were constantly checking on us to make sure that we had things, and it was something that we had to get used to.
Right.
But
it's kind of weird to be served at that level of intimacy. Like they're just constantly checking on you, making sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
And especially at the beginning, because I think they worry about you as you're going up in altitude to make sure nothing bad happens. On the way down, they were much more loosey-goosey about it, because at that point, I think they were like, you're going to be fine. Right.
So I would say this first day, it wasn't a big issue, but it definitely got into, I started getting told that I was not eating enough or needed to eat more,
Or drink hot tea or eat garlic soup. Lots of garlic soup, which was delicious.
Yes.
Lots of hot tea, which was delicious. But it's a
yeah,
lot.
so we had a quick meal, and then we headed
out.
So we left the tea house and started on our first bit of real trekking, and it was, you're kind of excited, and it's like, we're finally getting to this, and a
lot of preparation time, right? Months of preparation, mental and physical.
We soon learned that whenever you look at the map and you see, okay, Lukla is at 5,800 meters, and
so Phakding
was at 5,600 meters, so you think, okay, well, I'm just going to lose 200 meters. Well, the entire trek, it's a constant gain and loss, gain and loss, gain and loss. And what Gyeoljin referred to it as is zigzag, which... It's
kind of vertical zigzags instead of horizontal.
It's up, down, and eventually you work your way up or work your way down. But it was not a hard trek. And about halfway in, it was about how many hours? It was like 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
It was about a 3-hour trek, and so about halfway through, John and Gyeoljin kept asking me if I was doing okay, and I was.
She was looking pretty bad by then.
I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I mean, I didn't feel. It's warm at the lower altitude, so I was like, okay, well, it's hot, and the sun was out, and I just all of a sudden I felt this tightness in my chest, and so I leaned back, sat back on a rock, and leaned back, and then I remember thinking, I just need to lay back for just a minute. And I laid back, and the next thing I know, I woke up on the ground. I'd fainted. I fainted.
Dead away.
And
she slid down the rock.
I fainted. I hit my head on the back on a rock. John and Gyeoljin said that I was out in no time. That they got to me immediately.
It was like a second or two.
I feel like I dreamed a whole feature length film, and I wish I had written down what it was that happened. John actually looked worried, and John never looks worried about things like that. So I pass out again, sitting there waiting for them to...
Fortunately, this time she was already sitting. So.
Yes, I was sitting, and I passed out again, and it was the worst feeling. We figured out that the dosage of diamox that I had was
Which
the
is
wrong...
for altitude sickness. It's a thing you're supposed to take to make you better with altitude. The moral of the story in all of this is don't overdose on diamox, because that turned out to be what the problem was.
Yes, that was what the issue was. I was taking too much diamox. So from that point on, I had these capsules that had, it was extended release, so it had the little beads in it. So from that point on, I just dumped half out and only took half of what I was taking, which was 250 milligrams.
But the first day was pretty scary, like with her fainting twice. So she slept for the whole afternoon, and then I kind of forced her out of bed in the evening, and we walked around the village for a little while.
So he did wake me up and make me walk through the village. And when I say through the village, it was up through the village. And
well,
I was
these
not
villages,
moved.
these are not like normal villages. They're all just like a straight line. There's like a line of trail and houses off the sides. There's not like any depth to the villages. So
yeah,
it's kind of weird.
So we walked around, and I still did not feel well at all. But it was a very tough
first day.
First day.
The second day was fun for its own right, for a whole different reason. We'll get to that one. So anyway, so after that...
Spoiler alert, I did make it.
She did make it.
Yes.
She actually made it. But the first 2 days, we were very concerned that she was not going to, for two completely different reasons. But anyway, yeah, so the evening, it was a lovely place that we stayed, a really nice tea house. And
I got French fries every night.
she got French fries all the time.
Yes.
It was like, vary your diet. And she was like, no, I want potatoes. Or chips. Sorry, she wanted chips because it was British.
Okay, so this is,
Day one.
yeah, so this is day one. We flew into Lukla by helicopter this morning, which was a very last minute thing. I'll turn the camera around and let everybody see. The room is a mess.
Yeah, it's not a very big
But
room.
it's not a very big room. It's my bed, mess.
The nice thing is at least we're
John's
sharing it because
bed.
it's a 2-person one, so otherwise you'd be sharing it with a stranger.
How was your trekking today, John?
My trekking was good. I felt good. No diamox yet, and I didn't have, aside from just standard out of breath walking up hills, I actually felt pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how we did all that today, and then coming up from dinner, just upstairs, one flight upstairs to the room.
You start huffing
It was just, we were huffing and we were looking at each other like, what? You know, so we'll see how tomorrow goes. Tomorrow we have a big day. We did not get our own private bathroom.
Right. So kind of like a hostel, I guess. You know, you have your room, private room, or 2 people in a room, and then the toilets at the end of the hallway.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. And
No
we did not-
showers, no
we didn't,
showers.
Yeah, there wasn't a shower that I remember, and we didn't need one by that point,
Right.
so it was...
Right. Yeah, oftentimes they did have showers, but it was like one shower and you had to pay for it. So, of course, you kind of just didn't take showers all the time.
Yeah.
Make sure you like and subscribe. We're going to be doing day 2 soon. So, and if you haven't seen day 0, go back and make sure you look at that. That's our tour of Kathmandu, which was really cool in its own right. Not trekking, but it was really neat because there was a lot of cultural stuff.
And we'll put the link to that.
We'll put the link to that in the description. And anyway, make sure you subscribe, and we will see you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.